This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
We begin with a call for action after 3 teenage pedestrians are killed on the northwest side. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Griffin. Community leaders want to make sure a similar tragedy won't happen in that area again. Troy Washington now with a local minister who says this should be the push that gets the city to make change a priority.
Pastor David Green thinks a sidewalk along Kessler and 38th could save lives.
You have a lot of traffic. It's open to a lot of cars, traffic all hours of the day and night. So we've been advocating and the community's been advocating for, we need some sidewalks.
Flashing lights, crime scene tape, and this tennis shoe left behind explains why the Purpose of Life pastor believes change is the only choice after 3 teenage pedestrians were killed Saturday morning after 1.
I received a phone call and said, Pastor, this has just happened right in front of the church. My heart was saddened because we've been talking about the need to get some sidewalks down the street, especially in the incident where these young people were just, walking back to their destination.
According to police, there was a crash between 3 cars. The collision made them lose control, cross the median, and hit another car, causing that car to hit the teenagers.
This is an accident caused by vehicles, and now their lives are lost. 3 lives have lost. Families are impacted. We're creating additional family trauma.
This tragedy happened right in the front yard. It makes him realize just how dangerous it is for anyone to walk along the busy stretch of the road.
There's no sidewalk. There's no trail. So we have people who are walking down the street, in the street, basically, on the side. And we have an academy here, so we have parents, single parents, who have strollers that are strolling down Kessler with no sidewalk.
The pastor explained that mothers use this sidewalk to walk along with their strollers, and he says he'd be extremely hurt if anything were to happen to them going forward. Now he is challenging city leaders to prioritize the change he's been working to see for 5 years. Working for you on the northwest side, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Troy, thank you. And because of Indigo changes, the pastor expects foot traffic to pick up even more in the area as pedestrians walk to the bus stop at 30th and Kessler. New at 11, a person is in serious condition after a shooting at a northwest side apartment. Metro Police say the shooting happened just before 5 this evening in the 5200 block of Pinebrook Drive. That's near 52nd in Georgetown. The victim was taken to the hospital in serious condition. That person's name has not been released. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. Meteorologist Kyle Mound standing by. Kyle, are things starting to calm down now?
Yeah, things a lot quieter across central Indiana than they were this afternoon and even this evening. Storm Team 6 radar shows a quiet scan. You can see still some of those thunderstorms a little closer to South Bend, and you could actually see those thunderstorms from the downtown area earlier this evening. Our temperature right now, 68 degrees, so it is going to stay warm and muggy out there as we've got that south breeze for us. But again, we're going to be dry. We don't have any watches or warnings, and I don't anticipate any of that through the overnight tonight. Our temperature 66 for you in Martinsville, still mild though. As we look in the western portion of the state, we've got temperatures in the lower 70s for you around Sullivan. Heading out the door in the morning, we are going to have those mild temperatures starting off around 70 degrees, a dry start. I'll let you know if it will be a dry finish in a few minutes.
Kyle, thank you. Now to our continuing coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on Indiana. More than 1,800 Hoosiers have now died from the coronavirus. The state health department says more than 30,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Nearly 215,000 people have been tested in Indiana, with 14% testing positive.
At Tyson Foods, safety is not something that we take lightly.
Big changes are underway at Tyson meat plants across the country after thousands of coronavirus cases have been traced back to the company. And that includes the Tyson plant in Logansport, which shut down for almost 2 weeks after hundreds of workers tested positive. The outbreak has delayed reopening stages in Cass County. More than 1,500 people there have tested positive. That makes Cass one of the top counties in the country when it comes to COVID-19 cases per 100,000 residents. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker shared what he learned from a Tyson executive about how the company plans to keep their workers and our community safe.
Checking temperatures, sanitizing break rooms, and on-site medical screenings are being done at Tyson meat plants to stop the spread of COVID-19.
We are not afraid to slow down plants or even idle plants if it means keeping our team members safe.
Tyson Senior Vice President of Human Resources, Hector Gonzalez, described for me this greater focus on employee safety.
Safety is our top priority. It comes first before we run any ounce of meat through any of our facilities.
Despite all the safety measures Tyson says they put in place, some workers still don't feel comfortable going back to work, including Gary Whitehouse, who I spoke with 2 weeks ago after the Logansport plant reopened.
They say the ones that get affected the worst are the elderly and the children. Well, I'm around elderly people, I'm around children every day, and I'm going to be 50 next year. So it's not worth it.
Gary says he's not alone, even though Tyson signs are proudly displayed outside of several homes in the city.
There's so many people that are saying that they're not going to go back to work because they don't feel safe going there.
Because they know a lot of people are worried about the virus in their community, Tyson is also encouraging workers to be safe as possible when they aren't at work.
We've furnished face coverings for team members and for their families, and have continued to offer face coverings to team members as they leave work.
Hoping to cut down on the community spread that could be linked to their facilities. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Cornelius, thank you. These safety measures at Tyson plants are expected to stay in place indefinitely while we all deal with this pandemic. Gary, the worker we talked to, says he does not have plans to go back to work. Tonight, many restaurants in Marion County are back open with outdoor seating only, but some are still trying to figure out how to open under these new circumstances. A local manufacturing company wants to help independent restaurants who still may need chairs or bar stools. Facility Concepts in Whitestown has about 500 chairs they are giving away to restaurants in need for free. Company leaders heard about restaurants opening with outdoor dining, and since they have extra inventory, they felt it would be good to help out the community.
We're deeply immersed in the restaurant industry. We talk to folks all the time, and we realize how difficult it's been. For some of them, if they're not successful in their reopening, it could be the end of their business. So if we can provide some assistance with some free chairs and bar stools and furniture that'll help them, we're really doing it just simply because it's the right thing to do.
They are looking to help independent restaurants downtown or in other locations that are in need. We do have information right now on the RTV6 News app with how you can get in contact with the company. President Trump is calling on governors to open places of worship this weekend. Meanwhile, the CDC is out with updated guidelines on keeping you safe from the coronavirus. The details are coming up. Speedway and May go together, right? So it's probably a little disconcerting this year since there's no race day this month. Ahead, see how residents are reminding everyone that their community is still the hottest ticket in town.
Anderson and Elsa and I approve this message.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
The Memorial Day holiday weekend is often considered the unofficial start to summer, but this year the coronavirus pandemic has many Americans under stay-at-home orders. All 50 states have started to reopen at least some parks, beaches, and businesses, but at least half a dozen states are seeing an increase in cases of the virus. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimber with the details.
With many Americans eager to get outside and enjoy the Memorial Day weekend after months of stay-at-home orders,
I'm so happy. I love it. I'm so happy I'm out of the house.
States have been rolling back restrictions on beaches, golf courses, mountain trails, and more. While all 50 states have reopening plans underway, 6 are seeing a rise in cases. North Carolina reporting its highest one-day total number of new cases, and in Alabama, the state's healthcare system is being pushed to its limit.
Well, right now, if you're from Montgomery and you need an ICU bed,
you're in trouble. As businesses across the country look to reopen, the CDC has updated its COVID-19 guidelines, saying the virus mainly spreads directly from person to person and doesn't spread easily from contaminated surfaces. It's also estimated at least a third of the people who contract COVID-19 are asymptomatic. In New Jersey, many heading to the boardwalks along the Jersey Shore, but some are hesitant to join the crowds.
I'm actually headed out of town for the weekend, so I'm going to stay away from it.
As some states begin to allow places of worship to open their doors, President Trump is calling on governors nationwide to allow all churches, mosques, and synagogues to reopen, calling them essential.
In America, we need more prayer, not less.
The president threatening to override governors who don't open places of worship, though his authority to do so has been questioned. But some public health officials warn reopening too quickly could lead to a spike in cases of the virus.
If they're too close together, if we're singing, if we're unmasked, these are the type of measures that will cause this virus to spread like wildfire.
The CDC with guidelines for the faith community advising people to limit singing and promote social distancing in congregations and minimize the sharing of worship materials. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington, D.C.
Monument Circle is revving up Indy 500 style as part of the Shining a Light Indy initiative. Each night this weekend after the signature salute, Back Home Again in Indiana will play on Monument Circle. Racing elements are also projected onto the IPL building and Circle Tower. It's a way to still celebrate the month of May and Memorial Day weekend despite the Indy 500 getting postponed due to the pandemic.
It's a very nice thing the city put on for everybody, and it's good that people get out and enjoy this. I mean, you can look around and see now all the people and the activity. It's good. It's good for the city.
Tomorrow at noon on the Circle, the national anthem will be played, and then at 9 p.m., American the Beautiful and a checkered flag projection will begin, followed by several rounds of the signature salute, leading up to midnight when the projection will be turned off. An amazing sight there. Well, we told you earlier this month about a campaign in Speedway called It's Still May in Speedway. Even though the race isn't until August, residents were encouraged to show their pride in the community by decorating their porch, yard, or windows. Today was Judgment Day for the contestants, and our day first was one of the judges.
It's Still May in Speedway. That's the campaign from the Speedway Arts Council, and they're encouraging folks to still dress up their porches, the windows as well. How long did this take to put together for you guys?
Not very long at all, just a couple days.
You just knocked it out.
Yeah, I did.
It's all about raising money for St. Christopher's Food Bank. This is some serious stuff here. Hey, this is Michelle. Hi. How long did it take to put everything together here?
For decorating the whole yard, it took me probably a day and a half. It's still May in Speedway, and regardless of there's a race or not, we're here to celebrate, and we'll celebrate in August as well.
Is it August yet? I love that. All right, you got to check out this house here. How spectacular is that? Some serious work here. Julie put this together. In fact, she had a porch party last night. How did that go out?
Oh, it was way bigger than what I thought. But yeah, it was till 1:30 in the morning.
Davey Hamilton, Bart Janes, we're all judging this, and I'm convinced there are no losers.
No losers.
No, it's cool. And check out this porch. Your name is?
Chris Warnock.
And how long did this take?
About 3 weeks.
Only 3 weeks.
They were busy days.
Listen to the race?
I am missing the sound of the bars.
And here in Speedway, you can hear them.
Yes, I can. I love it.
And I just talked to the homeowner. He says it took, 10 hours to do over a couple of days.
If we didn't pick the winner, it was Day.
That's right. All day first.
That's right. Yeah, blame me.
Wow, so creative. Love that. Thank you so much, Dave. Well, the winners of the May in Speedway contest will be announced tomorrow. Time now to get another check of your Storm Team 6 forecast with Kyle.
And Nicole, yeah, we had some of those thunderstorms today, some tropical downpours. In fact, Indianapolis picked up over 1.5 inches of rainfall in just an hour. Tonight, though, things very quiet as we look from the IMS Pagoda back at the Circle City. We've got our temperature in the upper 60s downtown, still holding on to 70 degrees in the Kokomo and Muncie areas for you tonight. And temperatures tomorrow morning going to be very comfortable here, only falling back into the middle 60s, 66 degrees in the city, 65 for you in Richmond, and 66 in Columbus. Well, if that rain interrupted your yard work today, I think tomorrow you got a little better chance of getting that in. As we get into the afternoon, that's where we've got a spotty shower or storm chance, and then for our Memorial Day itself, a few more showers in that forecast. But let's break things down for you now as we get into your Sunday, and there are those temperatures at 8 a.m. already in the upper 60s. We'll get into the lower 80s at noon, and I think, again, much of the day is going to be dry. We get into the afternoon, spotty shower or thunderstorm, really as we're getting into more of the summer-like weather pattern, so kind of that heating of the day stuff. Tomorrow, though, we're not anticipating any severe weather. Our temperatures topping out in the middle 80s for you. 86 degrees tomorrow afternoon in Kokomo, even close to 90 in the Veedersburg area. In some areas, could squeak out a 90-degree reading for the first time this year as we go through our Sunday afternoon. 88 in Shelbyville for you, Martinsville at 87, and 87 degrees in Seymour, where you had some heavy rainfall earlier this evening. Here's a look at TrueCast. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we've got the cloud cover. You start to see a couple of these isolated showers and downpours. Again, some heavy rain could certainly be possible, but not everybody's going to see it throughout our Sunday afternoon. And as we go into the overnight, just some very light rain that will be with us, and we'll keep those low rain chances going through Memorial Day. A little better chance of rain is going to come our way here by Tuesday, and you're really going to need that umbrella. Daily rain chances, although we're not looking at washouts here. So your Memorial Day forecast, again, a lot of dry time out there. Temperatures middle 70s for you at 10 a.m. We'll get into the 80s already at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's where we'll start to see a few more of those showers and storms taking shape. So if you do have plans to be outside, make sure you keep an eye on the sky, and you have that Storm Shield app in case we have any warnings. But as we go into Monday, you can see a few more showers and storms, a little more coverage than what we'll have tomorrow, because tomorrow that front's really going to be locked up into the northern portion of the state for us. But again, I think on Monday you can get out there and enjoy some nice and toasty weather for us in your 7-day planning forecast. Got a high of 87 degrees for your Memorial Day, 85 on Tuesday. And you notice that forecast, a lot of those rain and thunderstorm symbols out there. I think the best chances for rain over the next 7 days coming our way on Tuesday, and then Thursday looks like it will be more widespread. That also brings in a little cooler air, but still, even as we go into next weekend, high temperatures above average with Saturday's high at 78. The news at 11 will be right back.
Victoria Sparks, and I approve this message.
Restaurants in Marion County are now back open as Mayor Hogsett allows them to open with outside seating only. This is the first weekend for the change as the state continues to reopen during the pandemic. Tonight we went to Tavern on South downtown to see how things are going so far. Owner Steve Geisler says downtown has been very quiet for the last 2 months, with many people not working in the area. Tavern on South has not been open for carryout or delivery. The owner tells us he was just anxious to get back open, even if it's just a small portion of his normal business.
The whole staff is back, and we're not utilizing as many people at one time, but since we don't have as many seats available, but they're all working, and they're excited to be back as well, and just getting out of the house and kind of getting back to some sense of normalcy.
The owner says they are taking all precautions to keep staff members and customers safe. He also says their dining area outside has a retractable roof, so even if it does rain, they can still welcome people in. Billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk's SpaceX has teamed up with NASA for the first launch of astronauts from American soil in nearly a decade. Here's ABC's Diane Macedo with the details.
The Falcon 9 rocket and Crew Dragon capsule are set to lift off from Kennedy Space Center this Wednesday at 4:33 p.m. Eastern Time. Created by Elon Musk's company SpaceX, it's the first commercially built and operated American rocket ship. Astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley will be on board.
And we view it as an opportunity, but also a responsibility for the American people, for the SpaceX team, for all of NASA that's put this opportunity together and entrusted us with it.
So it's incredibly humbling to be here to start out the next launch from the United States.
The two prepared with a dress rehearsal Saturday afternoon. They'll be headed to the International Space Station, marking the first manned launch from U.S. soil in 9 years. Program manager Cook Shireman says the three men currently on the space station are looking forward to their arrival.
I had a chance to talk to the on-orbit crew. I can tell you those guys are very focused, very excited, and are preparing for having Bob and Doug arrive on orbit. So great preparations going on orbit.
The weather is being closely monitored, as well as ocean conditions from Florida to the northern Atlantic.
We need to make sure that if the crew had to come down in a launch escape scenario, that they would come down in a sea state that would keep them safe and that the rescue forces would be able to come and get them.
Both NASA and SpaceX are also urging spectators to stay safe amid the coronavirus pandemic by watching the launch at home on TV.
It is a shame, NASA and SpaceX have worked so hard to get to this day, and the American public has come along this long journey with us.
Local officials are still deciding whether to allow people on beaches, parks, and roads on launch day. Diane Macedo, ABC News, New York.
Diane, thank you. Coverage of the highly anticipated launch will be streaming on ABC News Live and airs on National Geographic Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Thursday, ABC News Live coverage will continue as the spacecraft docks with the International Space Center. Stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast when we come back.
Be in your area. Call 1-877, only ATT.
Today, race fans were supposed to be pouring into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for Legends Day, but instead the track was filled with families who are struggling and need food during the pandemic. Gleaner's Food Bank of Indiana is seeing a drastic increase in the number of food insecure Hoosiers looking for help. Today, a large mobile food distribution event was held at the Motor Speedway focused on getting nutritious food to our hungry neighbors. Each family received meat, produce, and 2 gallons of milk.
Really wish we were watching a phenomenal racing event happening here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but we can't in the current circumstances. Biased as I may be, I think we're here doing the second best thing at the Motor Speedway, feeding up to 5,000 households of our neighbors with 40 pounds of healthy, nutritious, perishable food.
Super strange to be here for Legends Day. Massive crowd here for a really great cause. So on behalf of Andretti, we're really honored to be a part of this wonderful event for a great cause and to really make a difference and bring the awareness to a serious issue within our hometown.
Last week's food distribution event at the State Fairgrounds was the single largest hunger distribution event in Indiana, and today they think they beat that record, and they were expecting to feed 5,000 households. The Indy 500 may be postponed until August, but that is not stopping people from continuing traditions during this Memorial Day weekend. From porch parties, as we saw earlier, to rocking 500 fashion, people are still celebrating. Every year, Bike to the 500 starts at the city market, and a large group rides to the track with a police escort. This year, with no race, Bike Indianapolis, the host of the event, is still encouraging people to get out and bike 2.5 miles around your neighborhood. That's the same distance as 1 lap around the Motor Speedway.
There's nothing better, particularly we've been sheltered in place for so long, and now we have these beautiful days, and you could get out, get some exercise, get some sun, and it's a wonderful experience.
And after your ride, make sure to post on social media using hashtag Bike to the 500. Kyle.
Feeling more like summer over the next several days. Those high temperatures in the 80s and that daily chance for some showers and storms.
Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.